everyone, it's Deja from CrochetEverAfter.com, and right now I'm going to show you how to decrease in single crochet when you're working in the round. Now this stitch you're going to use a lot for amigurumi or stuffed animals, and even just simple projects where you need to do a decrease. So let me show you how that's done. Alright, now we are going to decrease while working in the round. This is good for working stuffed animals or anything where you need to close off your work, or if you're working maybe a beanie and you're going from bottom to top. Depending on how you're starting, I'm starting as if I am working like on an amigurumi, and I'm going to make a ball. As you can see, I have a flat disc. There's no curve to it at all. And it is 18 stitches around. I increased it 3 times, so I've done 3 rounds. Now I'm going to decrease 3 rounds. So I'm doing a small amount so you can see how quickly this changes into something. So to decrease, I actually had my stitch marker to mark my first stitch of the round. I like the locking stitch markers because they don't fall off as you're working, and you just pop them off as you need to. So to decrease, what you do is you simply are crocheting 2 stitches into 1. This is also known as SC2 together, or TOG as the abbreviation will show, or it'll simply say decrease. So what you do is you just insert your hook into the next stitch you come to, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then instead of finishing off that single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch and yarn over and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you're just going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And now you just turn 2 stitches into 1 stitch, and you see that 1 V now instead of the 2 that you started with. And what I do is I like to put a stitch marker in my first stitch of the round so I don't have to count as much. So since I increased to 18 here, I have to decrease the same way. I increased on 2 stitches, and then I single crocheted 1 stitch, and then I increased 2. So to decrease, I need to decrease 2 stitches and then single crochet in my next stitch, because I only want to decrease by 6. You can decrease more, but I'm trying to make a nice round ball, which is what this is kind of going to look like when I'm done. And to do that, let's slow down so you can see my decrease again. You're going to insert your hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. Then you're going to go to your next stitch to make a single crochet. So when you're doing that, you kind of got to pull over a little because your decrease kind of wants to sit more to the right or right in the center of those 2 stitches. So that's what's going to make your flat piece start to curl. And you can see I'm already curling quite a bit. It's already cupping up very nicely. So I'm going to decrease again. So I insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, increase into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. I have my 3 loops, always go to the shaft to keep them even, yarn over and pull through. And you can decrease in any number you can fit on your hook actually. It's easier when you have taller stitches like double crochet or treble crochet. With single crochet, anything past decreasing 3 stitches at once gets kind of ugly and weird looking, because it's just going to yank everything together. I'm doing a single crochet next. I'm going to finish that off. I'm going to do another decrease. So insert into 2 stitches and pull up those loops. Yarn over, finish that off. Single crochet. And when I'm done, I'm going to have 12 stitches. I started off with 18. I reduced it by 6. Which is the good number to do when you're doing single crochets. You increase by 6 on single crochets to create a flat piece. So if you're single crocheting, it's 6. If you're half double crocheting, it's 8. So there's an actual mathematical amount that creates a nice flat piece depending on what stitch you're working. Now you can see I did my whole round and I'm back to my stitch marker. Now I need to decrease another 6. So I have 12 stitches. I need to decrease 6, so I'll end up with 6 at the end of this round. So to do that, I need to decrease every single stitch around. So I'm going to put 2 together every single stitch I do. So I'm going to do my first 2. So I can insert my stitch marker. And once you get to like this round, because all you're doing is just decreasing around, a stitch marker comes in handy because you can just go without counting. You know that every single stitch you make is a decrease. So you don't have to count it all with that stitch marker. If I didn't have the stitch marker, I would need to say 1 decrease, 2 decrease, 3 decrease. I sound like the Count from Sesame Street. So, again, as this gets smaller, it'll get a little bit more cumbersome to work with. Just take your time. You can see I'm like all squished in and everything. I just kind of move my stitches and move my little ball as I need to be able to work into my stitches. And I push up and out, because if I push like straight through, I might go through the other side and catch the other side of my ball. Especially when you're working with small yarn and this little hole is going to be very tiny, you're going to push up, and I always have my finger here so I don't catch the rest of my project. I stick my finger there and kind of deflect off of it. So there is that next decrease. And then here's my last one. And I wanted to do a closing hole so you can see how I usually close my hole. So I take out my stitch marker, and what I do is I pull my tail out and I cut it, and then I weave it in between all of these stitches so that I can just pull it tight and close this hole off, and it will make a ball once I stuff it. So you can see by just increasing 3 rows and decreasing 3 rows, I get a nice little ball, which is great for a little stuffed animal foot or just a ball. And that is how you decrease in the round.